You know, the last video you came out with was pretty decent. Why, thank you. I appreciate that. Especially that part when you're talking about backups. It's so important that you have that done before doing anything, especially if you're swapping over to Linux. Oh yeah, most definitely. I agree on that. So when do you have any YouTube videos about setting up backups? Welcome to Vensire Studios, and let's get this going. Alright, with all the joking aside, as usual, the chapters will be in the description section below, so you can jump around if there's something else you want to be looking at, instead of what I'm going through from the beginning. And with that out of the way, let's jump into it. So I'm going to be covering 3 programs here. One is going to be a generalized backup of system files and so forth that you may want to have, backups of for, documents and so forth, or specific, computer settings and whatnot that you want to be able to keep around in case you do have to do like a fresh install of Windows or restore another backup. The other 2 are full system backups that'll help you restore your system. Say if your storage for the main drive actually dies and you have to get it replaced. That way you'd be able to get the bootloader, Windows and stuff on, all of it up and running in case there's like an entire system failure. Okay, so yeah, let's move into this. The first one we're going to be covering is called Cobian Reflector. When you get it installed, it'll initially boot up and it'll be inside the system tray down here. And you're gonna have to just either double click on it to open it or right click and tell it to open. And as you can see here, it's actually a very simple program. It's not so simple under the hood though. So we're gonna cover one specific thing first before diving into it. That's in the under the tools options setting and in the advanced section. And that is this, a safe mirror. We're not gonna be putting it there. I made a Cobian folder, so we're gonna put it in here. Safe mirror. And the reason for this is the way I handle it is I have it fully back up the files and keep it on parity from everything else on the drive. So the safe mirror is if you delete something, it'll put it into the safe mirror. I used to use BitReplica, which you could use for free also if you could find the serial number for it. It's easy to find it on the website. I believe it's like Oslogics or whatnot, but there's a couple of flaws I found with it. Is one, you have to have an internet connection. It has to be able to dial into the license server to get it. And I just didn't want to be dealing with it. I want my own system. But it did allow you to make exact backups and then set a specific time before it would delete the old files. So you could set it and forget it. So this isn't quite that. But it does allow you to, if you say delete a folder or a file or something, and you need to retrieve it later, it will be in the safe mirror. And the only downside to it is once in a while you're gonna have to go in there potentially and just delete the stuff in the safe mirror if you know you're not going to be using it anymore. So with that set up, we're going to create a new task now. So under the task name section, you right click on it, go to new task, set a name for it. We'll do backup. Go to the file section under source, click add. I'm going to be adding a few directories here. First, we're going to back up my VST folders. So we've got the primary one in here, and then we have the x86 one as well. So on the x86, we'll go down here, grab this. So there we go. I will also grab my DaVinci Resolve folder. So that's in the app data section. So we're going to go to app data, Windows R, type in app data on it, then go to local. No, that's the DaVinci Resolve. So no, I'm not local, roaming. So we want to get this added as well. So I'm going to go to add directory. I have a program called direct folders installed. So as soon as you say I clicked over here, this one jumped immediately over to it. So I can just easily grab it. It's because it allows you to quickly navigate throughout your system. So now we have that added. This already has the destination set for it for the save. This is because I did a test before. If it's not here, you're gonna have to go to add and tell it to directory or whatnot. Schedule. You set this to once, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, timer, manual, on startup. We're not going to set it to on startup. We're going to have it on weekly. It's set to 10 p.m. for me because, again, I already did a test for this. And then under advanced section, we're going to set up mirror task and use absolute paths. This isn't usually clicked, so make sure that is clicked. If mirror task is not available for you to check mark, go back to general, change the backup type real quick, and then jump back down, and it should be selectable then. Now, I made it specific not to set it to on startup because we're just going to hit OK here. Go back to tools and options, and under here, make sure that run all tasks when starting up is selected. That way, if you turn off your computer or you're on a laptop that you generally shut down instead of leaving in sleep mode or something like that, whenever you boot up, it'll instantly rerun the tasks and everything else and get everything backed up. So with this out of the way, we're going to jump over to the Cobian folder here. Yes, we have the safe mirror, but we're going to select the backup on here and click start and tell it to run tasks. Backup is started. It'll look through everything and it'll set it back up. Now you'll see here, it has specifically the C drive. This is why we used absolute paths. So you have to reinstall Windows. It's a fresh install. All you have to do is come to the backup folder, go into where it shows the C drive, select everything, copy, and then just paste it all into here. I'm going to show you how it exactly works in a second. And that is by running DaVinci Resolve real quick. I made a quick example project in here specifically for this. Because after I do this, I'm going to delete that folder, relaunch this, and you see how we'll have the whole welcome menu and everything else. Oh, this is it registering the plugins because I didn't have them on here before. So here's example. And there you see, it's all up on here and working. So we're going to quit out. I'm going back into app data under roaming, under Blackmagic Design, and I will delete that. Now with that out of the way, we will relaunch DaVinci Resolve. And oh, look at that. There's the welcome screen because it doesn't have anything specifically set up with the plugins and everything else. In fact, you're going to see it run through the VSTs from when I loaded it before. And yeah, there it is. And it'll start up as if nothing was changed. Also in my other one, you'd see that the cut tab was turned off as well. So this is a fresh, appears to be a fresh install. Now, head in roaming, Blackmagic Design. We are going to delete this one more time. And now, I'm going to copy everything from in here, go into C, and tell it to paste. And I will tell it to overwrite all, and it'll overwrite everything and added the Blackmagic Design folder right back there. Now, obviously, it's going to show the VST loading again because I backed that up before loading it up with the VSTs registered. So yeah, but you'll see that the project is in there and I'll be able to load right back into my example project that I just had before. So there. It's a simple backup solution for you. The primary folders, though, I will bring this up. So you see here how I have VST for 64, x64, x86, and DaVinci Resolve. If you delete these specific folders, you'll get an error. So when you try running the backup, it'll say there's an error. It won't touch the backup that is inside here. So you see here, in here, see for DaVinci Resolve, it'll be here under roaming. This will not be touched. If you delete anything inside the folder like this, which, no, not that. I don't mean it from here. Go to app data. I'm gonna go to roaming. They're gonna go to Blackmagic Design. We're going to delete this folder. Now you'll see the safety mirror in action. I'm gonna hit run tasks, and it should move this out of here. As you see, it's gone. And if we go back to Cobian and Safe Mirror, you'll see that it placed it right in here. That was this one right here. So we're going to paste this back here because obviously I want it inside DaVinci Resolve. And I can just delete the safety mirror here, and I'm going to run this one last time, and it'll place it back into the proper location that it was before. So there it is. And as you saw, that was the safety mirror. It works. It'll back it up. This is how I set it up. Now, this, how I have my backup set up is on my D partition. It's the same SSD. Normally when you do a backup, save it to something other than the same drive, because again, if your drive fails, you'll lose the entire data regardless of the backup that you made. So just try to keep that in mind when you do this. And that really covers Cobian. So now we're gonna move to AOMEI Backupper. I'm gonna disconnect my internet because I don't have this thing connected online, and then it takes forever to load if you have your internet up and running and so forth. So AOMEI, get you loaded. Now it should load right on up. So this is a very simple backup program. We're gonna set it to backup. You could set it as system backup. I haven't fully checked it, but me being the paranoid person that I am, I use partition backup, and I am going to select everything for Windows. You need these three. This is the recovery, technically boot, the recovery partition to fix things on your Windows system. You technically don't need it, especially if you're doing backups like this, but if you're going the general route, select these, so hit OK. If you want to back up the system partition to ensure bootable after restore, would you like to use the system backup function to realize the operation? I think it'll just automatically, so it sets it to system backup. So yes, it did. Now where do I want to back it up? No, I'm not putting it on my E drive. I'm gonna put this in D2 into where do I have it? Partition backup, and then we're just gonna save it right there. I'm gonna delete that safe mirror since I'm not using it in there. So with this, all you gotta do then is hit start backup. I checked it with how it handles the compression to Macrium, and actually they're pretty much on par with each other, so you don't have to change the setting on Macrium. You actually have to go in and tell it to set it to like high or something. You want it as high as possible. I mean, I don't know how much it really saves between medium and high, but it is what it is. So this will run through. It'll back up obviously all four of those partitions, and once that is done, I'll discuss how it handles things inside the restore section of the Windows PE, because that was kind of interesting. But after that is done, we're gonna move right on into Macrium and how that tends to work. This is the Macrium is the try and true method, I like to say, for how I handle my backups currently. So we'll be back after this is done. All right, and we're back. The backup completed successfully. It is recommended to create an AOMEI Backupper recovery environment. What they want to do basically with this is whenever your computer boots, it gives you an option to go into it. They just click out of this. I'm going to show you a different way of doing it while I talk about the system backup and everything. So once you're done with it, it'll automatically set a backup that you can run whenever you specifically want and how you want to run it. You'd even schedule it. I just do it once in a while. You know, this is primarily when I first create a system up, and after I set up like the debloating, then maybe once in a while every few months or so after that. But as for restoring this, I think it's under tools. Yep. Let's create bootable media. So what you're gonna want is to create an ISO file, or you stick in a USB drive and you just tell it to create the backup from on there. USB boot device, obviously, whatever USB boot device you want to shove in and just do it. I personally use as an ISO, I use something called Vensire to manage my ISO and things. But if you need it to be bootable and so forth, like you have secure boot or something, either use this, or with the ISO, use something like Rufus to create the bootable USB device for you. This will help you save on, say, storage. So if you want like a base Windows install on that same USB, you could do that, but I'm not gonna get into that like here right now. But yeah, these are the ways I would recommend doing it. Don't do it with the recovery environment, because then it just adds more bloat booting into your system and so forth that you don't need to deal with. But yeah, when you boot up into the AOMEI backup environment, it's very simplistic and it doesn't let you restore more than one partition at a time. Quick annotation for AOMEI inside the recovery environment. If you did the system backup like I showed, that'll give me the option for where I hit OK in there. It will restore all the partitions in one shot. But yeah, the recovery environment is definitely still less than stellar. I'll show you the backup here. Now, you can't access this without their Pro version and so forth. But that's why we're going to be covering the other one, which is Macrium Reflect Free Edition. And like I said, there's certain unfortunate caveats now that come with this also. Because in this one, you could boot into your backup. So when you first load it up, it'll look like this. It'll have all your drives selected to backup and all your partitions. So unselect the ones you don't want. Like, again, we only want the Windows one. I believe this one backed up a lot faster than AOMEI's one as well. But yeah, existing backups. No, that's not what I want. I wanted the definitions. I don't have one either. So the other one auto creates a definition. This one will ask you if you want to. We'll get into that again afterwards. So we have this booted up. On the left side, select image selected disks on this computer. You haven't unselected your partitions, again, unselect them. We're not putting you there. We're putting you, wrong button, into the partition backup here. So copy this, and we're just gonna keep both of them in the same spot. And we're gonna name this Win11 backup for generic sakes. Like I said, the compression level set to medium. I always set it to high. I don't bother with a prefix. Like they give you, we recommend you set a prefix for your backup file names. With the backup set image ID to group your backup sets when viewing files in Windows Explorer. Don't need that. So just gonna hit OK, hit finish. Save it as a definition file. Yes, you can unselect it if you don't care. Or selecting it just makes it easier again. So hit OK. And it'll run through and do the backup. Like I said, this one shouldn't take as long as AOMEI, which either or, you're not gonna get to see all of it because post-editing is amazing. All right, so we finished the backup. This took about just as long, actually, if not longer than the AOMEI one. And we're going to cover up how to set up a rescue media partition also. So that would be located in other tasks up on the top left. You click on create rescue media and it'll scan your devices. It does give you the same option to have it show up when you're booting into Windows. Again, I don't recommend it. You're selecting the wrong drive, but here it goes. There's a USB flash drive. This one's a 64 gig one I just plugged in for example's sakes after thinking it from the other one. And then you could also, again, create an ISO file and have it put it onto the USB yourself. Again, if you wanted to use like Rufus or something, then create a separate partition with your like a basic Windows install backup on there or something. But yeah, that pretty much covers with this. When you boot into the recovery, if you're doing it from a drive you had already previously set up with this specific one, so if I installed the backup onto my USB, it'll recognize the backup that I had already made up onto here. Like you see on the top left, existing backups, it looks exactly really like this. And when you're inside, you can tell it to restore and so forth. You could even have it browse the files. This is the caveat I was talking about before. Most recent Windows update seems to have hosed that. So if I want to look at it here, on here, let's see. I'm going to try restricted files. As you'll see, it'll pop up with an error on Windows and be like, no, you can't do that. This is the thing that I thought it was me, like debloating, but it wasn't. It's Windows like, no, you're not allowed to do this anymore. That didn't pop up, but here we go. This is the error that pops up. Driver cannot load on this device. A security setting is detecting that this is a vulnerable driver and blocking it from loading. I'm going to be guessing it's because it's the free version of Macrium and they're not updating it anymore. It is what it is. You can still access these files from inside the rescue environment itself, but directly on here you cannot. On Windows, I don't know. I don't think it's a TPM thing. It's just a generalized Windows security thing from what they have. So unless you get that stuff disabled in some meaningful other way other than just generic debloating like I've done, yeah, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna let you just load it on up. So yay, thank you. But yeah, that pretty much covers it, I'd say. If you liked that video, hit the like button. If you didn't, you know what to do. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, leave it in the comment section below. And yeah, let us know what kind of backup software that you're using, if it's something different from what I've showcased here. And I'll catch you all next time. Bye.